Hello, hello. Welcome to my craft room. It's Rhoda. Today we're going to work on our cover for the Grungy sunflower. And needless to say, it wasn't wide enough. This was as wide as my spine was, which is just a tad over an inch. And it wasn't going to hold the two signatures, so we're going to work on that. I'm going to show you how I changed that around. First, we're going to get in here and look at our sneaky peek. Now at the end, stay tuned because we're going to have a preliminary of the altered book. And if you're wanting to do an altered book with me, this is going to be your homework. Okay, here is just a page that I put a little bit on and then I wrote. I have a tab here and then we flip it over. Now this was an interesting page. At first you can see the little bit of papers because this is an altered book here. You can see the little bit of papers that are ripped out. Well, I was supposed to take this and glue it down here. And that was going to hide these. That's part of the altered book thing. You got to hide the rips. Well, I decided, well, maybe I won't hide it. And so I just left it like this. It's kind of like you can see through to this page. You flip both of these over, you see through to this page, and you see the pretty little wolf. And I just kind of like that, so I left it. You've got this in the between, got another wolf, and then you just flip it over, and you got a raccoon and I don't know if that's a porcupine or what that is. So anyhow, and then you get over here, and I've got like a little writing area, and I had this spare tag. It has snow on it. So I put some snow pieces, and I had this from something else I did, and so I just tucked it in there. And then I did this cute little punch border to put on there. I wrote cold, so it must have been cold this day. And we got snow, so it all worked together. So we're going to look into these different page things or plans for them when we get together at the end. And then I'll have a flip through of the Grungy sunflower, and then we'll get to work on our own altered book. Now you can see how big this is, and I did not plan. This is only a little bit over an inch itself. So you have to think about those things when you start these projects out. And I did not with this one. I had pre-made this out of a pizza box. So the cover was only about yay wide. So I only had about an inch of a spine on it. So I thought, well, maybe I can expand it in some way. And I didn't want to waste this little bit that came off the spine. I had a 9-inch piece by just a tad over an inch. So I cut each one into 3-inch pieces. Then I did a 3/8 inch a score on it so it would fold inward like this, and we're going to secure it to the actual front and back. I did take some of my antique bronze paint here. It's distress paint, so it's permanent. Once you put it on here, it's permanent. And I just rubbed it on the sides, on the cover as well, because I didn't want to see the cardboard look of it, Then I got to thinking about how I was going to do these pieces. It's kind of like an open spine. Paper Crafting with Miss Tommy did an open spine one time, and I really loved it. Well, I had these pieces, which has 4 little teeth, I guess you'd call it, at the back. I found it in the sewing wall of the craft department at Hobby Lobby. I don't know if they have them anywhere else or not, but I pushed it in, and then I bent the little teeth under, and that's what we're going to do on this next one here. And I've got a little mark. It shows me where the very center of this piece is here. And then I kind of just slowly push it in on each side until my teeth go in. And I don't do it all at once because I'm kind of just working it down in there. This is a pretty nice thick piece. It's several pieces of, what do you call that? Chipboard. It's a couple of pieces of this, couple pieces of that. Now I'm taking my flat little pliers here and I'm pushing it down the rest of the way. So I know it's in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to push the teeth down next. And just depending on which side works best for you, that's how we're doing it. Here we go. Now that's in. Now the next step was this is where I'm going to be putting the signatures in. I thought, well, let me go ahead and just hole punch it and put an eyelet in there and see how that works, because I have a certain idea for my for how I'm going to put my signature in. I think I got one. You always get one that doesn't want to come out and then you can't see where the next hole punch is, which is right there where that piece of gold paint is. All right, so then we're going to do that. Now, next step is just to put our eyelets in, and then we're going to clamp it shut. I'm a little crooked there, but that's okay. I really want to thank everybody for coming to visit. Hope you're having a good day. Hope everybody's healthy or getting healthy again. In this day and age, you're either one or the other, aren't you? So we're going to push in our eyelet and get that all done. And I always do like a double push because of those back pieces. Like that one, I don't think I'm in there all the way. Oh yeah, I squished it that time. And I'm not going to have to worry about anything being seen back in here, because I'm going to put this piece of lace in there over top of it like that. So none of that's going to be seen. All right, our next step is the brads. I picked these brads out. I like the color of them. It goes with this. It's kind of an aged look. Now, what I'm going to do is show you around here. And what I did with the measurement here, I wanted to make sure they were in the dead center of each one of these sides here. So you just kind of use your ruler and everything and measure it out the way you want it. And then on this piece, this is the back, which it actually would be this way. And then this would be this way. Nope. Is that right? Nope. Sorry. It's this way. That way. There we go. Oh, I'll get it right. Don't worry. But I've got my little dots right here, all planned out on where each one of these brads is going to go. That's how we're securing this. Now, you might want to get in there with a little bit of glue. But first off, we're going to get in here and do our hole punch. And I'm going to be really close to the edge here, so I'm hoping that this all works out, because I have not done this before. I don't even know if it's the proper way of doing a, a open spine. So we're just going to work at it and see what we can do. Okay, the other one is right. Let me make sure it's... I want these both to line up. They got to line up just right. Okay, so it's right there. And then I have a problem with them not coming out of that hole. Well, I think you have that. You have that all the time. Other people I've seen has the same issue. So you want to punch those all out, get everything out of there. And then we'll go to the next side and I'll do the same thing and then I'll be right back. Okay, the next step is to put your holes in here where we're going to have the brad go all the way through. And this is also in the center as close as you can get. And if I didn't mention it, I'm using a crocodile. It's like an eyelet setter. And you also can punch holes with it. So I really like this. I saved up and I watched for one to go on sale. And I finally got one. Okay, now what we're going to do is go ahead and put this together. This is the inside of my front cover, the inside of my back cover, and what we're going to do is we're going to put, I think I'm going to put it on the inside. I don't think I want it on the outside. I want that, yeah. It might be more grungy, but I'm not crazy about it, you know. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to smear us a little bit of fabric tack on there, just to give us a little bit of connection. I don't know if it'll help, but I'm hoping it will. So what we're going to do, put that down right here, come through, maybe come through first with the feet. Make sure they're up and down. That's the way we're going to want them. And splay them out. And if you need to, you can always get in here and clamp anything that you're needing to get it to stay. Okay, we'll put that one right here. And then we're going to splay his feet out. And we're going down to the next one and do the same thing. And then what I'll do is I'll do this exact same thing to the other side. And then I'll be right back. Okay, now check this out. Here is our open spine at the back. I've been going in here and pushing the two sides on each side of the brad. And I just keep doing that just until that fabric tack is really in there and good. So this is what the back will look like with our, I don't know what you call these things. I didn't keep the piece of paper, but I think they are for when you do upholstery work. That trim that goes along the front or the side of a chair arm, I think that's what those are for. But you can see the beautiful color of the brads. That was the perfect color for this and to go with that as well. But there we go. We got at least, what is that now? 2.5 inches. We have 2.5 inches. Yes. And I really like that because I had so much more to put in this book. So that was all I was going to show you, except maybe to kind of demonstrate, because you won't see it until the end after I've already done it. But because I've not got my signatures done. But what I plan to do, I plan to go in this hole from the outside, tie a knot, maybe tie something in the knot, a bead or something. So it's going to go in here. It's going to go through the first signature. Then it's going to come through the signature at the middle, like a regular 3-hole pamphlet stitch. It's going to come back up through here. And then I'm thinking that I'm going to tie another knot. Then I'm going to tie another knot and start another string to go from this one to this one. I think that's how it's going to work on both sides. So it's going to have some knots back here, which will work with the grunginess. And I'm trying to figure out if I want a bead or something that may add some more metal elements, that kind of stuff. Maybe a dangle could be put into that somehow. So I'm still working it out. But I really like how that worked out. We were trying to solve a problem that had happened, and I thought I would show you. All you had to do was cut the spine off. And then the way I took it, I took these 3 pieces and made them into a holder. And I am going to take this, I'll show you that right now, to go over all of the workings in here that you may not want to see. So I'm going to put this little piece of lace right over top of this somehow. Yeah, probably about like that. I am going to cut it. I'm going to trim it right there. It doesn't need to interfere with this or the back. So it's only going to have maybe a 1/2 inch on either side. And that's where I'm going to glue it. And I might just glue it across here just a little bit. And then the rest will shine through the back here. See, won't that be kind of cool? So that's what we're going to do there. So that little project is done. And now for your homework. Your homework. What you want to do is find you a book that is glued. Now see, this one's got a jacket on it, which you can take off and you can use it. Like, this will be a great Halloween piece for next year. And this is a book I got long ago. I didn't use it for anything. And you just take your jacket off like that and set it to the side or wherever you plan to use it. Then what you want to do is make sure, now you can go to the dollar store, you can go to the Goodwill, go somewhere and find you a book that's glued. And you can kind of look in there and see that it's glued. It can have strings. You'll see it if it's actually string bound, and that's not going to work for you for this. It might work for you if you're only wanting to use the cover and then, you know, do signatures with a pamphlet stitch, but it won't work for a altered book. So I learned this from Gail Augustinelli, and the first thing you do is you want to keep your the construction of it as solid as possible. So you go 5 to 7 pages in. 3, 4, 5. I'll go to 5. And then that is going to stay. You're not going to do anything with it except decorate it. You're going to put some papers on it, you know, whatever. But that has to stay there to keep all of the glue and the construction of it in one piece. Then the next part is where you're going to rip out from 8 to 10 pieces. Now, as you saw with mine, how wide it is, I don't think I ripped out enough. I think I only ripped out about 8 maybe in each spot. And I kept a whole lot of stuff in there, or put a lot of stuff in there that made it wider. So it's up to you. And the way we're going to do it, you may even have a chance to rip out more as we go along with our construction and our workings on our pockets. Now, like I said, you're going to get in here and you're going to rip. And you just rip it out. Just try to start it. Ugh, yeah, you might have to get you a little X-Acto knife. Start with a pair of scissors. But it's kind of hard to get it started. So there you go. Now save these. You're going to be able to use these in other journals and all kinds of other projects. That's glue pages. You know, you're not going to be wasting any of this book. Then you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to go with 8 for right now. Put me a book weight on there. That's what's going to get ripped out. Then you're going to have to get you some paper clips. I got a whole bunch of paper clips right here. And what you're going to do next is figure out how many you're wanting. Now, 4 is a usual. Let me see if I can find one here to show you. And let's see. Where's one I actually put together? This is one that's a little different, but this would take 2 pages right there. That's only 2 pages. There's my snowflake. Where is one in here? Okay, this one. That's a good. Okay, so when you're wanting to start a pocket page, you have your base page here that stays whole. You'll have another page that stays whole, usually the 4th page. The 2nd and 3rd pages are going to be like this. You're going to make a tuck on either side, and that's going to be a pocket. And you've got other choices of how you design it, but it's usually only 4 pages. Now, it only comes to the point where you want to get a little bit more fancy that you may need more than 4. Like, say we want to do a double tuck. So we have a shorter tuck here and a longer tuck here. That will be 6 pages. And, you know, you kind of get the drift there. So when we're working, if you would like to, you could leave up to 6 pages in some spots. And then if we don't use those, or you don't choose to use those, you can rip those out. Now, this was just an extra piece that got glued in, as some of these other things back here, that was an extra piece that I glued in. But this one here is another 4-pager. Your 2 base pages and your 2 pages that you create into pockets. So you kind of get my drift. So what you'll do is you'll just keep going back through your book. But what you'll want to do is you'll want to grab the 4 pages that you're going to use. Now, if you have a plan on how you want to do them, like say we want to do a regular basic pocket right here. We're going to have a triangular fold like that. Going to come down, and then we'll have one on this side that comes down. Now, these two will get cut off about a 1/2 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch right there, so none of that bulk is involved, and that gets glued down, or, you know, glue stick. You can use glue stick on that. Just try not to get it everywhere else. But so these 2 pages will be together. So you can actually paper clip them like that. And that's where the paper clips come in. Now, sometimes you'll have where you might want to, let's say, okay, and after that, you're going to rip out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 more pages are going to get ripped out. Then you're going to start your next pocket area. Some people like to have a pocket that is just an opening, like you might want to have an opening here, where it's one big page pocket. You can have an opening on this end or on that end. So sometimes you'll take your paper clip and you'll put it on the end where the opening will be, so you know which end to leave open and have prepared and ready. Then we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to probably change this, so don't put this in stone. So now we're going to start our next page pocket area. Now I'm going to do 6 here because I'm going to show you kind of how to do the one I was describing if you want a 6 tucks or 4 tucks. So most times you'll take, and you got to remember which one's going to be on the base page is probably going to be the longer one. So we want to go out to here with it, fold it down, and then it could be cut off to the 1/2 inch and glued down, so that's prepared. See, now that'll be glued here and here. But I got to show you how to glue too. So your first assignment here is only to paper clip. You don't want to glue yet. We're going to do that in the next video. After I show you the Grungy sunflower flip through. Okay, so now your next one is this one I was telling you that you wanted a little bit shorter. And we're just going to fold it as best we can. Might be easier to cut it off. But I'm going to just give you the idea. Then you're going to cut off all that excess except for a 1/4 inch that you've glued down. And now you've got 2 tucks, just like that. Okay, then you're just going to continue on. You're going to pick either 4 or 6 pages that you want to keep, and you're going to cut out, or you're going to rip out 8 to 10. Now, if you don't want to have that much to do, you're going to pick a smaller book if you would prefer. You might pick less pages to have in it, so you're going to maybe rip out 10 or 15. What you're going to put back into it is going to put in your bulk. What you've ripped out, it's going to put it back in. You're going to have pages, digitals, or just pages of scrapbook paper that's going to cover these. So you're putting that paper right back in here again. I wanted to see if I had anything in this book I wanted to show you. I was trying to see what I had in here that might be a little different than the norm. But I made a circular page here because I thought it would look like a snowball. And then on this side, I just have like a piece of lace that's like a belly band. And then you can have regular pockets. If you're kind of hesitant on doing your own pockets and things in here, just do maybe some pre-made pockets. And then some of those that are like just the 2 pages together kind of a deal. I mean, you don't want to overburden yourself and thinking about what you have to do, but I do want to show you what you can do. So I hope that was enough explanation. I know if you go over to Gail Augustinelli, you'll probably see hers. Now, I've looked through a few different creators' altered book ideas, and I do not see a very many differences. You don't see very many different creative page tucks and folds. So that's what I'm going to try to show you with yours, how you can do a different kind of a fold and create something different than the norm. Let's call it that. All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming. Uh, don't forget, if you have made a mistake in one of your spines, it's always easily changed and reformed. And I hope you got a few tips and tricks from this. And I hope to see you soon. And I might get back to showing you a little bit more of this real soon, within the week. So please stay tuned. I hope everybody's well. Thank you, all my subscribers and viewers. Everybody have a great day. Bye-bye.